What's up, and War Eagle to the War Report family? We are back with another weekly edition of Facts or Not. This week is week 3 edition versus Penn State. Fellas, we ready to do this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Well, let's get it kicked off in grand fashion and ask, facts or not, Auburn will have at least 4 sacks this week against Penn State. How do we feel about it?
Facts. I'm going big facts here. Penn State likes to throw the football. They're actually going to be more pass heavier than they've been in recent years, and we have a defense that likes to pin its ears back. I expect guys like TJ Moultrie, Derek Hall, Akuliota, Kobe Wooden. I expect those guys, even Marcus Harris. I expect our D-line to get a push. There's going to be a lot of obvious passing down scenarios for Penn State, and I expect our D-line to eat and eat often. And we've already got more than 4 in one game against Akron. Yeah, an inferior opponent, but there's going to be a lot of opportunities to get sacks, and I think Auburn definitely gets at least 4 sacks. Facts for me.
I am going to say, nah, I don't think so. I think they may have been saving some stuff on the defensive side for Alabama State because we only had 2. Now, Alabama State was in a position to try to play catch up the entire game, and we only got 2. Even if we're playing base and we're not getting exotic, still, we only got 2. I think a team that watches the tape, sees that our strength is our defensive line, has to adjust, especially if they know they want to pass the ball and they're not going to get much on the ground. They're going to be protecting the quarterback, probably an egregious amount. Running backs chipping, tight ends in to block, to protect what they think is the best chance of winning the game, which is them passing it. And with our secondary looking at least a little suspect, I think they reinforce the offensive line and the pass protection and keep us from getting 4, but I could definitely see 3.
I think I'm going to go facts on this one. The Alabama State game, it seemed like they made a focus in that game, number one, to get the ball out early. So they were trying to prevent our pass rush from even having an effect. And their quarterback had a little bit of elusiveness. I don't think the Penn State quarterback is all that elusive. So I think it's going to be more difficult for him to slip away from some of the defenders that are going to be coming to cave that pocket in. And I do anticipate our blitz packages being a little more exotic this week. And so they're going to show Penn State something they hadn't seen on film, which should result in more sacks. So I'm going to go facts and see if we get 4, at least 4 against Penn State this week.
All right, guys. Facts or not, Jarquez Hunter becomes Auburn's 3rd consecutive SEC Freshman of the Year. What are we thinking?
I am going to say facts. Jarquez has the best chance of any freshman who's been on the scene so far to win Freshman of the Year in the SEC. And the reason is you put up that number of yards, you get on people's radar. Anything of the year competitions are always beauty contests. Who do people think of? Who do they remember? And it's not so much about who the most valuable and the most talented freshman was. So right now, we've got big numbers. He's got big numbers in an offense that gave him some room with Shivers being out to flourish. Now, you can't sit a guy once he's been that productive, so he's at least going to be in the rotation, and I think that gives us a very good chance to spell Tank with a capable, true number 2, and I think that yardage that he's going to have at the end of the season is what gets him the Freshman of the Year in the SEC nod, so facts.
Yeah, I'm going to go facts on this one. I think, it's super early to even be having this conversation, but after 2 weeks, I don't see another freshman in the SEC making the kind of impact that Jarquez Hunter has had. Now, we definitely need to see this against stiffer competition because a lot of the productivity of a running back is going to be dependent upon how that offensive line produces against some of the better defensive lines. But what we have seen from Jarquez Hunter so far is special as far as his speed and his vision. So I think that he has a good opportunity if he continues to get the rotational snaps that he's gotten so far. Again, he's gotten more snaps because we played against Cupcake. So game 1, he got in late in the game against, the second team defense. Game 2, Shivers wasn't playing, so he got some of those first team snaps that would have been Shivers. So it's going to be interesting to see what the rotation looks like once Shivers gets back in the mix as to whether or not he's going to have as many carries and as many opportunities. But he's shown he doesn't need a lot of carries to get a lot of yardage. So I'm going to go facts on this one right now. Jarquez Hunter right now in the front running for SEC Freshman of the Year. Facts.
I'm going to go facts here as well for the clean sweep. I think much has been made about Tank as our running back going into this year. And I know it's against cupcakes, but 2 games in, Jarquez Hunter is our leading rusher, which is saying a lot considering who our bell cow is. And yes, Shivers being out definitely creates a lot of opportunities, but so far Jarquez has made it a tough task for Shivers to get in and wrestle away those reps. Well, by the way he's playing. It's going to be interesting to see how he looks against Penn State on the road against LSU in terms of, is he a guy that the coaching staff can depend on, whether it's in pass pro. We know what he can do running the football. But if he can show that he can be a reliable blocker in pass protection, I think he's going to be out there a lot. And I think with the other freshmen in the field in the SEC, I think he already has shown production in terms of what he can do. And I think this kid will be the SEC Freshman of the Year when all is said and done, barring some type of injury or some type of setback. So it's facts for me.
All right, fellas, facts or not? Bo Nix throws INT number 1 for the season this week against Penn State.
I think I'm going to go facts here. Penn State's defense has been very stingy when it comes to how they're playing on the outside. They've got a really good safety over there at Penn State who seems to be a bit of a ball hawk, and they're going to be very exotic in the way that they're bringing blitz packages. They're going to force Bo Nix to make good decisions. And, to be frank, his accuracy has not been pinpoint as of yet. And so he's going to need to throw into some tighter windows, or he's going to need to make some very good decisions when forced to do that against the blitz. I think for the first time this season, we're going to see what he looks like against that blitz. And I am still not super confident in our offensive line's ability to pick up those blitzes well. So that means Bo Nix is going to be under pressure. And I do think that means that Penn State's going to get a gift. Hopefully it's going to be something deep down the field. Deep down the field. That does not turn into, 6 going the other way. But I do think he sees his first INC this week against Penn State. Facts.
I'm going to go facts here. And the orange and blue in me wants to say nah, but I think this is going to be the best defense that Bo Nix sees on the road, probably up until A&M. Maybe Ole Miss, probably Arkansas will be some real good defenses that he faces. But I think this is going to be a bit of a learning experience for Bo. And I think he has made some throws through 2 games. Well, why it hasn't resulted in an interception against better competition and in tighter windows, some of these balls are picked off. And I think Bo Nix, in terms of where he's going with his eyes, how he's seeing the field, how he's commanding the offense, and his accuracy, those are some things that may get exploited. And I think against a defense that has athletes and will be throwing everything at him, there's going to be some miscues I anticipate just as a learning experience in this brand new offense. And I think it's something that he improves on as he goes throughout the year. And I'm not necessarily sure if it costs Auburn this game against Penn State, but I do expect to see a miscue here and there. And it could be a drop pass by a receiver. We just don't know how it's going to come about. It may not necessarily be because of a poor play or decision from Bo, but there's so many different things with this offense that we're trying to get ironed out with our receivers, with QB play, the O-line, that there could be multiple factors that lead to an interception. So on the road, loud environment, first test, road test. I'm going to go facts here. I'm hoping it doesn't cost us, but I'm going facts.
Yeah, I also say facts. I think Bo gets heated up with pressure that he has not seen yet this season, and we will really get to see how well those fundamental reimaginings for Bo have worked by the coaching staff. And it doesn't have to cost us the game, to C's point. I think that we have a good chance to get in there, be shaken a little bit, make some mistakes, but then recollect ourselves and then go out and win that game against Penn State. But we know Bo's bugaboo. It's pressure, it's on the road, it's loud environments. He's going to get all 3 of those, and I don't expect him to get out of there unscathed. Most good quarterbacks don't get out of those environments unscathed, so I don't think he's above that. So, facts.
All right. Well, it has come to that time where we do the fan question of the week. Thank you again for all of your submissions. Keep those coming at the War Report hashtag facts or not. But this week, we're going to go with our guy, Rolls Royce 5. He's tweeting at Rolls Royce 5. He says, facts or not, Tank will have more than 22 carries this week against Penn State. What are we feeling about that one, fellas?
I'm going to say nah here. And I think that this coaching staff is willing to do a running back by committee. And I think that unless Tank gets some type of a hot hand and he's averaging 10 plus yards per carry in this game and he's delivering and Penn State can't do nothing with him, I foresee them actually relying on both Tank and Jarquez Hunter to actually get carries in this game. I just don't see us riding one guy. I think the days of us doing that are over with this new coaching staff coming in. And I think that Hunter has earned this coaching staff trust enough for them to be able to use him as part of the game plan on the road against a Power 5 school. So I'm hoping that it doesn't come down to us running Tank at least 22 times to win a game, because we definitely have talent in the backfield. But I'm going to say nah here because I'm looking for Jarquez to also contribute and be successful.
I'm going to say nah as well. I expect the rotation at running back to be consistent, even though it may not be in the same proportions we saw week 1 and week 2. Tank's not going to have a 10 carry game and then go to the bench. But what I do expect to see is a good mix of all the running backs, just for a change of pace and forcing the defense to account for us in slightly different ways. And maybe with receptions, if the question was touches, I would have said facts, but just rushes, nah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go nah on this one as well. When I think about this question, what I look at is number of snaps that we're going to get for the total of the game and what percentage of those snaps are going to be runs. I expect us to be in the low 60s as the number of snaps that we're going to have in the game. I expect a large majority of those to be runs, not a large majority, but at least 40 run plays that are going to be called in that game. So if we're only going to have 40 rushes, Tank's not going to take 22 of them. You know, I think running back by committee, as C said, as B Will has alluded to, is going to be the way that we're going to do this. So I think, you know, at least of those 40 snaps, 15 or so are going to be Jarquez Hunter. If Shiver's healthy, he's going to have some of those snaps as well. You know, goal line situations, Bo Nix is probably going to run the ball a couple of times against Penn State. I just don't anticipate us turning around and handing the ball off to Tank 22 or more times in this game. If we do, then that means that our pass offense is either abysmal or Penn State's rush defense is abysmal, right? Like we've just determined they can't stop us. So we're just going to continue to run the ball until they figure out a way to stop our rush offense. One of those two scenarios, the first of those two is definitely not one I want to see. And that means that we're in trouble. So, you know, I'm going to have to go nah on this one and say we're not going to give it to them 22 times. All right, War Report family, that's it. That's another great edition of Facts or Not. We definitely, again, appreciate all of the support that you all have been giving us on Twitter by helping us get some great questions out here. But we want to continue to hear from you, not only with Facts or Not questions, but your opinions right down here in the comment section. But definitely tweet at us at the War Report, hashtag Facts or Not, so that you can get your question featured right here on the next episode. Outside of that, you know what to do. You need to be following us, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We are The War Report. We are TW Report on TikTok. That's it. We're out, as always, and forever. War Eagle.
War Eagle.